Okay, we are live with first period. Say good morning, first period. Yay! Hey. All right. So today we're going to go over my best guess for the strategies SPG that you guys are taking tomorrow. You can follow along if you want. I didn't make extra copies of the formula sheet. You should have them in your red books if you have it, but I'll also give you the formulas as we go. So here we go. I'm gonna need to use it. So let's look at the first one. It says, use the information below to answer any questions that follow. So the table below shows the coffee orders placed by customers at a cafe over a period of days. So we can see we've got small, medium, and large, and they offer chocolate, French vanilla, and regular. So what makes this a little bit different is, first of all, well, what does make it different? What don't we see? Totals. Excellent. We don't see totals. And what's the other thing that's different compared to what we usually look at? There's 3 boxes for each one. So this one is a little bit harder than what we normally look at. So we're going to have to, I say first, right off the bat, let's just go ahead and put totals in. So I'm just going to start adding across. So we have that. 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 45 is 75. I'm adding across for the chocolate. 18 and 12 is 30, plus 16 is 46. 48, 30, oh, I'm not going to do that one in my head. Oh, wait, I can. 80, 136. And then adding down, we have 136. And then, actually, I'll just write it large here. 75, 46, 136. I can't make this bigger. I don't know why. Let's see. 68 and 16 is 84. That's going to be this one. 50. This is going to be 60. I don't feel like doing that one in my head. 45 plus 12 plus 56. 113. And let me just add it across to make sure these all add up. 113 plus 84 plus 60. That gives us 257. And let's make sure it's 257 going down. It is. Okay, so our total number of people is 257. Okay, so now it says, let A represent a small coffee was ordered. Let B represent a large coffee was ordered. And let C represent the event that the chocolate flavor was ordered. So even though they gave us all the information, the medium was there for extra information. The French vanilla and the regular are all there for extra information. They matter because it tells us how many total coffee orders were had, but we're not going to use the information any other way. So then it says select all the statements that are true. Now, the formula for these lines, remember, is given. Anytime you see the probability of like a line like this, remember this line means given. And it's really exciting when it's in a two-way frequency table because you don't have to do any crazy formulas. All you have to do is pay attention to whatever is that at that last letter, this letter here, that's going to be your denominator letter. So if I go here and it says the probability of A given C, that means the only thing I'm looking at is chocolate. So how many total people drank chocolate? Based on what we added up. 75. So now, because I'm only looking at chocolate because of this C is the given, this C represents chocolate, how many of those people drank smalls? 20. So then all I'm going to do in the calculator, because it gives us as decimal answers, is do the division. And when I do the division, I get 0.266. This 6 makes this round up to 0.27. So that makes this statement is true. Now, what's tricky is it says all of them. So we literally have to do the math for each one of those 5 things. The next one, it says the probability of B. Now, because the probability, it doesn't say given anything. It just says plain B. So because of that, I need to look at the total number altogether. So how many total people were there altogether? 257. So 257 is going on the bottom because it doesn't say anything about given. Then I care about B. How many total people had B? No, 113. And it's tricky because you would think B would come right after A, but remember B stands for large. So that's where we get the 113. So then again, we're going to do 113 divided by 257, and we get 0.439, which of course would round. So B is correct. C, we have another given. So what does this given line mean? What's my denominator going to be? Why is it going to be 75? You're right. Excellent, because 75 chocolates on the bottom. What's my numerator going to be? Another trick. B given C. So what number is going to be in the top? Why 45 and not 113? You're right. Excellent job. Why is it 45 and not 113? Yes, because that's how many people ordered large chocolate. So because it says given C, the only thing we're looking at is this line for the given. Ma'am. She did.
Before it says given, you look at what it says before that also.
Yes, I did say 45. Start one more time.
I'm saying, so you also like, I think it was on the thing for review yesterday.
Yep.
They said something about like, given that they, like something, but given that they have that.
Right.
And like, some people should give them a number as a numerator.
Okay, yep, there were some different ones. So the main thing is wherever the word given is, whatever comes immediately touching the given's your denominator. So sometimes it might say, given the person had chocolate, that chocolate is still going to be the denominator, even though they mentioned it first. I don't know if that's your question exactly.
I'm saying like, well, you're in there, but I'm saying like, it says given that it's a large, right?
Yep.
So I'm saying, does that mean like?
It doesn't say given it's a large. It says, no, it says the probability of getting, so what PBC means is what's the probability of getting B, so getting a large, given, because that line means given, you got chocolate. So we read it literally anytime you see the straight line, it's given. So what's the probability of getting a large given chocolate? That's why chocolate's our denominator. Now, when I do 45 divided by 75, I got 0.6. 0.6 and 0.4 are not the same number, so choice C is not correct. The letter D, I'll put letter D over here. We're kind of running out of space. Letter D says, what's the probability of getting C? Because there's nothing else, what's my denominator going to have to be? 257, right? It's not given anything. It's out of total people. So 45 total people got chocolate out of 257 people. So 45 divided by 257 is 0.175. So that is not going to equal 0.29. So what happened?
Wouldn't it be 70?
Yeah, I think 75.
Nope, because for letter D, it says the probability a person got chocolate. It didn't say the probability a person got chocolate given they had anything else. So we care about small chocolates. Oh, wait. Oh, it is 75. Holy moly. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't mind saying I messed up. You guys rock. Thank you very much. So the probability of C is 75 because 5 people got chocolate over the 257. Thank you.
And that's right.
75, that is right. And it is right. Yep, 0.291. Thank you for catching that. Excellent. So let's erase this one. Good catch. And then the last one is C given A. So we'll kind of put it down in the corner. The probability of C given A, so A is going to be the denominator, which is 84 total people had A, 20 people had chocolate. 20 divided by 84 is 0.238. So obviously that's not going to be E. So for 1, we have A, B, and D. Okay. Next question. A figure is shown. Which method can be used to prove that triangle JKL is congruent to JML? What do you tell me what you guys see? Why is it side angle side? So we have these two congruent sides. These are not vertical. Remember, vertical angles form an X, but there's two congruent angles. What's my other side? The reflexive side. Excellent. Okay, so that is side angle side. Next one, to be able to prove that triangle ABD is congruent to CBD using SO. That's right. So last year, my students complained the most about these types of questions when they tell you how you have to prove it. So apparently, after we saw I didn't see the test, but they said, Dr. Eric, I got so confused because I thought it was supposed to be this, but they said it had to be that. So just make sure, like, if it says side angle side, make sure you use side angle side. Because if we look at this right here, we could see a couple things. If we see this here, we could probably be, oh, well, it's side, side, side because of this line, right? But the issue is, and they even have it as a choice. They have BD is congruent to BD as a choice. But that would prove the triangle's congruent based on side, side, side. And they don't care about side, side, side. They care about side, angle, side. So that means that because we have two sides, we're looking for the missing angle. So now we're going to say, well, if we have ADB as a right angle, that would be this angle here. Is that going to be side, angle, side? No, because this is a side here, and then there's our A. So it can't be D, and it can't be B. If we have it as C, C says BD bisects ABC. Well, that gives us this angle here and this angle here. Again, that's going to give you the ASS one. So it's got to be this one. Base angles are congruent. And that makes sense. I'm going to draw the picture nicer just to show you. They're actually kind of testing 2 AKS and 1. AKS means academic knowledge and skills. But the reason why it works is if we look at this big triangle here, this side here and this side here being isosceles, that means that these base angles are the same. So that does make sense. Okay, so that's the one that we need for side angle side. Number 4, which triangle congruence criteria will determine congruence for the given diagram? Okay, so again, here we have a side. Where did you get the angle from? Excellent. They're vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent. So it is side angle side. I don't know why they gave you 5 choices and then 4 choices. That's bizarro. So actually, I've used bizarro for years, but it's probably new to you. Side angle side. Okay, next we have given, so it says, look at this, choose 3 answers. So you're going to want to make sure you choose 3. I would be surprised if you get that on your SPG though, because I think the SPG is straight multiple choice and not like choosing.
What's the difference between the SPG and the final?
I also believe the final is only multiple choice. The difference between the SPG and the final is the SPG is connected to strategies, so they're testing less AKS or less standards. And also the questions are going to be more DOK level 1s because in theory, strategies should be easier. And third, the SPG for strategies covers the entire year.
The SPG is the district final?
The SPG is the district's final for strategies, which is different than the DA, which is the district's final for geometry. And that one, nope, that one you're taking 2 Mondays from now.
So,
The one you're taking next Friday is the school's created final exam for strategies.
So after we take our SPG,
You're going to be way prepared. If you follow along, you'll be way prepared.
so after we take our SPG for here, we're done.
After you take the SPG for here, you have 1 more school final the following week
For geometry, not
for strategies.
so when we
Because the thing is we still have to test you during testing week. What are we going to do? Sit with you for 2 hours doing nothing?
yes, like, that's what we did in middle school. Like,
That's not what you do in high school. All right, let's keep going. We're still recording in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to draw these triangles up here. And then the main thing for this is that you should draw out triangles. You won't be able to write on the packet because it's a district test, but on scrap paper, you will be able to do it. Make sure that you label in order. So how this says DEF, pick wherever you want to put D. I'm going to put D right here. I'm going to put E here, and I'm going to put F here. Then how it says PQR, I have to make sure P matches with my D, and that I rotate the same way. So I've got my PQR. So now that I have my triangles labeled, and this just test, it's literally just matching letters. That's all this section is. So angle F, is angle F congruent to angle R? Well, here's angle F, here's angle R. Yes, so A is correct. Is angle D, up here is D congruent to angle R? No, we don't know. If it was an equilateral triangle or a tilted isosceles triangle, yes, but based on this information, the answer is no. There exists one or more rigid motions that will map DEF onto PQR. What do we think about that? Yeah, it could be. It could be. So the reason why it says there exists at least one, because it's congruent, any single rigid motion can make that happen. So any reflection, any rotation, any translation can make those map onto each other. Okay. DEF can be dilated to create PQR.
No.
Why not?
Because it's a dilation.
Excellent. Dilations are not congruent to each other. There's only one time that dilations are congruent to each other, and that is if you dilate with one, which it would make no sense to dilate something by one. Only a reflection can map DEF to PQR. No, and be careful. If they throw only in, that probably is an issue. Okay. Now, if it was like saying the triangles were similar and they used the word only, that you probably could use that for dilations. A rotation will never map DEF onto PQR because rotations change angle order. That makes no sense. I don't even know what that's saying.
Because they're all
Excellent. Yep. So our answers for 5 are A, C, and G. So really, it did mention congruence, but it was really talking about translations, rotations, and reflections. Okay. So A, C, G should be what you have for 5. Number 6, the perpendicular bisect theorem. So I think there's 3 or 4 questions on you just knowing what's an angle, what's a perpendicular thing, what are parallel lines. So this is an example of one of those questions. The perpendicular bisector theorem says that if a point is on the perpendicular bisector of a segment, then it is. So let's remember what perpendicular bisector does. When we drew this, we would have a straight line. Then we'd measure about halfway and go a little bit farther. Then we'd arc above and we'd arc below from each of the points. Yep, and then we draw the line. So let's see. Why do you think it's A? It is A. It is A. So a point on this perpendicular bisector, so any point is going to be equidistant from the endpoints. And that's part of what a definition of a perpendicular bisector is. So that makes sense. It won't be parallel because that doesn't really make sense. Equidistant from the midpoint, that doesn't necessarily make sense. And then I don't even know what D means. So it is A. All right, let's try to get to, we'll brain break after we get through 10. Okay, so we're going to go to 10 and then we'll brain break. Okay, next. Okay, you're going to have ones that say, how can you prove lines parallel? That's going to be one of the other AKS we have to go through. So let's look here. If line JK are parallel, so we know they are parallel, that's given. How is angle 1 and angle 4 related? Here's angle 1, here's angle 4. Well, it says how are they?
No, they're congruent because they equally
They're congruent because they equal each other. And it's bizarre while they say given J and K are perfect or parallel, because that doesn't matter at all for this problem. But these two angles are vertical. Now, what I want to remind you is when you do have parallel lines, I'm going to intentionally make it more confusing. But just remember that you have to pay attention to the same transversal. So this red angle, and these red angles match up. Okay? If you're going off this line, then you have to pay attention to just the ones that touch that particular line. So pay attention to the transversal line. Tara recognized that the quadrilateral quad could be inscribed in a circle with a diameter UD. Okay, so I'm just going to put a diameter here so I remember that. Which of the following can Tara conclude from her observation? That QU is parallel to DA. I don't think that's possible. Let's see. The next one is that quad is a trapezoid. Well, we have to prove parallel lines, so I don't think that could be it. QA, this is a weird question. Okay. I was saying like question and weird in the same word. That's why you heard that. So see here how this is the diameter. It says, see how it says angle Q and angle A are right angles? Look at where angle Q touches. Angle Q touches the diameter. So remember, it's an inscribed angle. Inscribed angles are half the arc. So that means that this has to be 90 degrees because this arc is 180 degrees. That's like the definition of a diameter, is it splits a circle in half. So they want you to say choice D. Same thing for if I look at A. A has its endpoints on the diameter of the circle. This is 180, half of 180 is 90. That one is bizarre.
Oh.
Next, what?
Just remember that if the line touches the radius, it's 90 degrees.
If the line touches the diameter, it's 90 degrees, yeah. Which angle is congruent to angle 4? Shh, guys, still recording. We got 2 more questions and we'll brain break. So here we've got an angle is congruent to angle 4. Excuse me. I'll wait. So here I had told you to label the obtuse angles, and as long as they touch the same transversal line, they're all the same. And then we said the acute angles would be x's. So which is congruent to angle 4? Well, angle 4 is here. Angle 2 is blue. That's supplementary. Angle 3 is blue, also supplementary. Angle 5 is the correct answer. What's the reason? What type of angles is angle 4 and angle 5? Congruent because why? Alternate interior angles, right? Because they're both inside the parallel lines and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So they're alternate interior. All right, last question, then we'll brain break. CB is the perpendicular bisector of line segment AD. What is the measure of BD? Okay. Excuse me.
Set them equal to each other?
Yep, we just set them equal to each other. Because it's a perpendicular bisector, these two things have to equal because they're equal parts.
If there wasn't, it would equal to 180. Wait, don't you have to
No, that's only if they were angle measures. You couldn't do it unless because of it. Yes, ma'am. Rebecca?
I said don't have to
no, because we're setting them equal to each other. We're not adding them together. So then we're going to isolate the variable by subtracting 7x from both sides.
Whoa. Oh.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. So we get x equals 6, but it wants the measure of BD. Now, if they had 6 there, most of us, including myself, probably would have just circled 6. So we have to make sure we pay attention to what the question's asking. The question's asking for BD. So now that we have that, we can plug the 6 in. 54 minus 2 gives us C. And they actually put none of the above, so that might have been something that we would have picked instead. Okay, so hold on one second.